If you have been surfing the internet, you have undoubtedly heard the term URL and used URLs to access various HTML pages from the web. So what exactly is a URL? Well, welcome back my dear friends. Today we will clear all your doubts and queries on URL. So let's hop into it and let's learn together. URL is an acronym that stands for Uniform Resource Locator and is a reference or an address to a resource on the internet. A Uniform Resource Locator or URL, colloquially termed a web address, is a reference to a web resource that specifies its location on a computer network and a mechanism for retrieving it. A URL is a specific type of Uniform Resource Identifier, that is URI, although many people use the two terms interchangeably. URLs occur most commonly to reference web pages (HTTP), but are also used for file transfer (FTP), email, database access, and many other applications. Most web browsers display the URL of a page above the page in an address bar. A typical URL could have the form http://www.google.com/index.html, which indicates a protocol. HTTP, a hostname which is www.google.com. Fragmenting the hostname, we get www or World Wide Web, which is a subdomain. Then comes Google, which is a domain name, and finally a .com. The domain name .com followed by a dot is a top level domain or TLD in the domain name system of the internet. Lastly, a file name index.html. Now let's get into the history. In 1980, Tim Berners-Lee, an English independent contractor at the European Organization for Nuclear Research or CERN in Switzerland, built Enquire as a personal database of people and software models, but also a way to play with hypertext. Each new page of information in Enquire has to be linked to an existing page. By Christmas 1990, Berners-Lee had built all the tools necessary for a working web: the Hypertext Transfer Protocol or HTTP 0.9, the Hypertext Markup Language HTML, the first web browser named World Wide Web, which was also a web editor, the first HTTP server software, later known as CERN HTTPD, the first web server http://info.cern.ch, and the first web pages that describe the project itself. The browser could access Usenet newsgroups and FTP files as well. However, it could run only on the Next. In January 1991, the first web server outside CERN itself was switched on. The Nextcube used by Tim Berners-Lee at CERN became the first web server. Initially, a web browser was available only for the Next operating system. Later on, it is available to other OS. The first Microsoft Windows browser was Cello, since access to Windows was more widespread amongst lawyers than access to Unix. Cello was released in June 1993. Later on, slowly URL developed for other OS and was available for all other OS. The format combines the pre-existing system of domain names created in 1985, while file path syntax where slashes are used to separate directory and file names. Conventions already existed where server names could be prefixed to complete file paths, preceded by a double slash. Berners-Lee later on expressed regret at the use of dots to separate the parts of the domain name within URLs, wishing he had used slashes throughout, and also said that giving the colon followed by the first component of a URL, the two slashes before the domain name, were unnecessary. Really? Yes, it is. At least inventor Berners-Lee said that, so it must be. Now, you might be wondering that when you search anything, usually URLs are not short like the ones in the screen right now. Instead, they are big as these. So let's get into some detail and make you understand everything about URL. Let's take this URL for our understanding. Here it starts with HTTPS, as I have already mentioned earlier. Oh wait, earlier it was HTTP, S is extra here. So are they different from each other? Let's take a look. HTTPS or Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure is the secure version of HTTP, the protocol over which data is sent between your browser and the website that you are connected to. The S at the end of HTTPS stands for secure. It means all communication between your browser and the website are encrypted. You might have noticed that always HTTPS is in green color with a green lock sign, indicating that whatever you are doing is secure. Otherwise, it would be like this, indicating that you are insecure. Okay, now let's move forward with our URL. As I've already told you, HTTPS is the protocol after which there is a colon having 2 slashes, which are pretty useless. Then video, which is a subdomain .google.co.uk, which is the domain name. After colons there's 80, which is the port to further address. Then comes the path video play. After that you can see a punctuation mark which denotes that user has some query. Then it has parameters and fragment, which is directing to the web address of the query. So by now we hope that we have cleared all your doubts about URL. If you still have any doubts in your mind, please feel free to share with us. We hope you like this video. If yes, let us know by clicking the like button below. Million thanks to our subscribers and continuous supporters who inspire us to do stuffs like these daily. Yet, if you are not part of our QatNip family, come on, hit the subscribe button below. Thank you for watching this video and don't forget to get high in life.